There.
And good evening. It is Thursday, August 19th, 2021, and we just had our 6th live eviction in the Big Brother 23 USA house. I'm Dave Mader, joined with my brother Jeff Mader here on Super Mader Brothers Podcasting, streaming live on Facebook and YouTube. Or you may be listening to us on our audio version, wherever you grab your audio podcast. Welcome. And we also have a new head of household. Oh, and there's co-host Jaemeel Robinson coming in to join us as we will break all this episode down tonight here on Super Mader Brothers Podcasting. Jeff.
Yep.
It's the end of an era. Brittany has been evicted.
Oh, no.
It's me.
It's me. Brittany has been evicted.
It's me.
No, it isn't.
It's me.
Okay, I gotta refresh because
We can hear you. I can hear you
not
at least.
showing properly.
I can
You're
hear
not
him too.
Yeah. Having some technical difficulties, much like Julie Chen tonight, Jeff.
Yeah, which, you know what? They're not, the production staff is not at their sharpest this year.
Are they giving Julie too many cocktails?
Yes.
Okay.
I think the production people are having too many cocktails. It's not her.
Okay. Well, I got some such things like, okay. So her little exchange here with Big D or Derek F.
Derek, may I please call you Big D?
You can call me Big D, Joey.
Thank you,
Wouldn't it have
Big
been
D.
great? Wouldn't it have been great if he just went, no.
He should have said, besides that wonderful line that you just said, Jeff, he should have said, only if you want it.
Yeah, that would have been good too. That would have been just as good.
Yeah. Keep Big D in the loop.
Big D in the loop at all times.
Yeah. Yeah. Jaemeel,
Dude,
how are you feeling?
No, I slept through it again. I don't know how I'm gonna do this because I got home. I'm like, okay, set timer, and I woke up at like 8:15.
Okay. Well, the episodes. So, have you seen anything?
No, I watched Big Brother. Like I was able to,
okay.
but like friggin' Lower Decks. I'm gonna have to watch
No,
it.
well,
At work.
David and I, we were on the ship. Jeff got held up tonight too, so it was a good conversation. Over on our other channel, Live Long and Podcast. Check out our Star Trek.
We're actually live. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we're live here on Super Mader Brothers Podcast, Jaemeel, covering Big Brother 23's live eviction.
I'm up. I'm awake.
You're here, and Brittany goes out tonight, Jaemeel, in a 7-1 vote. But was that not the cure for her sickness?
I'm so sick of it. 4 out of 6 weeks.
4 out of 6.
If that's not a question for like final HOH or final veto, I'm gonna be disappointed.
Oh,
7 more months.
7 more months, but then in the exit interview, she put on a brave face.
Oh no, absolutely. I mean, but I feel like at the end of the day, this is a game, and I understand that.
Which is it?
Which is it, Brittany? The lies we tell ourselves. Look, you could tell that she's like, okay, it's over. I'm gonna squeeze this interview as much as possible. And Julie had to cut her off, had to cut her at her legs and say, no. After the break, afterwards, we'll talk.
Yeah, she's like, I run this interview, Brittany, not you.
Yeah, you can't on one hand go, Kylan is a liar, but it's just a game,
Yeah, okay. Now, do you feel like Kylan broke this deal? Do you think like he's been fairly painted here, Jeff? Kylan?
Oh, no, he gave a politician answer when they made that deal. He did not like firmly.
Those terms are acceptable.
I have the edited version as presented on the show.
I'm offering the next 2 weeks. You're not a target of mine. I'm not the target of yours.
Those are terms that feel good to me.
Don't fudge.
Yeah.
What the fudge?
Look,
I mean,
okay, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say it's like Obama, or Clinton or anybody was like, that's the answer that like a politician would give when you ask them a direct question. They'd be like, that sounds pretty good to me in a way, So that's what I don't know. That's how I took it.
That makes sense. It's not acknowledgement or agreeance. It's just stating that what you said, they're acknowledging what you said, right?
Yeah.
The thing is, you're absolutely right. It wasn't an affirmative, but at the same time, especially paired with Aza's feelings towards Kai, it kind of does. And if that was communicated to the broader house, that does give people some ammunition about bad feelings towards Kai.
Right. Yeah. Well, he made some false promises. Wrote some checks he couldn't cash or couldn't be cashed. Or whatever the term is.
He didn't like. He's just not honest. He straddles the line and wants everyone to be his friend. That's how he plays the game, and it's a crap way to play the game once you get to jury, because everyone goes, "What the hell, man? Like, why can't you just be like direct?"
Yeah, Derek F.
Dirk F is directly direct, so like he has nothing to worry about.
This is to me tonight was the conundrum between, Hannah kind of said it tonight. Oh, I would be playing an individual game if it wasn't for this cookout, but since there's the cookout, I cannot play my individual game.
Yeah, too bad, huh? Too bad it worked out like that.
Yeah, good point.
Well, Hannah, you chose to join this alliance too, right? So
you have no obligation to stick with it.
You have no obligation. You don't have to stick with it, but I feel like they've convinced themselves they do, because it means something more in some of their minds, at least. There's a statement, something to be remembered for here, perhaps, if they pull it off. It's. I think whenever power alliances, whoever they are, do actually stick with it and are able to like get into the finals, I think you remember these alliances because they were effective, even if they weren't fun to watch.
Yeah, well, no, it's mainly the fact that they're not fun to watch is why I think we remember them, because they drive me nuts. I can't stand the cookout, the committee, the moving company, any of them. I don't like any of them.
The moving company does not deserve to be named amongst these, but like level 6,
the pretty boys,
the pretty boys in Big Brother Canada, the brigade,
the brigade, yeah,
right? Because well, I don't know, Dan, what was his alliance? What was his big thing?
What, Quack Pack?
Quack Pack.
Was it
that was
Quack
Dan?
Pack?
Was it what was Dan's alliance that he got to the top on?
Wasn't the Quack Pack Ian, Dan, what's the name? Danielle, and then the other dude, Shane. Wasn't that the Quack Pack?
But do all winners
the Quack Pack, yeah.
Do all winners come from like these big alliances?
They're involved with it. It gives you a head, like, you can't necessarily say that statement because you get an advantage when you're in one of those alliances, but it doesn't mean that is the only route you can take. It's just one of the easiest routes you could take. What was Paul's the friendship alliance? Like what was Paul's alliance called?
In 18?
In either one.
Well, in the second one, in 19, when he played that time, it didn't have a name, but it was definitely, there was an alliance. It was like the cult of Paul. It was effectively, and Christmas was his minister, mother superior, perhaps, of the ministries. Like I thought she was, and then Josh, and Josh was like the leader of something else. Like Josh was like his chaos agent. Right, like his secret police, like to terrorize the innocents.
Pots and pans,
and royalty free songs. Yeah. So where were we? We lost Jeff.
Jeff's probably coming back.
No, he'll be back.
Yeah. Did you? So, at this point, we see that yes, Brittany's gone home. How do you feel about the veto situation?
I was not impressed with this whole tonight. I didn't like the way that we talked about this last night. The fact that they didn't even show us the veto ceremony last night, which is like, for what? To see what will happen when we know damn well what's going to happen. Like, even if you're not a live feeder, which, you know, you like casually, I think you have to follow what's going on here. And like Julie and the producers, like this false cliffhanger.
Who will ultimately end up on the chopping block?
Who's going home tonight? It's who will ever know? It's obvious. It was like they teased it last night because it's obviously what's going to happen. So they have to show us, I guess, that a little bit, but it's kind of,
Yeah.
I was not super great, thrilled with it. I didn't like the two. We were a bit surprised. We all expected that Kylan's veto would be like the veto that would come second one, but it wasn't. It was actually going to be Alyssa who would have more power with this veto. But she wasn't going to go against Kylan here, and she was quite happy to leave these two on the block and go along. You know, and I think she goes, the only person I have on my side is Xavier. And therefore, that's, you know, I have to try. I can't make more waves. I don't know. What do you got to lose, Alyssa? Like, actually, you might be better off to double down, you know?
Yep.
Like, you're going to go to the jury house either this week or next week, you know? And I guess it's just, when it will be your turn eventually because you're not Cookout.
Correct.
Yeah. But we'll see. You know, like, was it Xavier gave a testimonial tonight when I guess it was probably interspliced with his conversations with Tiffany, where they're like, yeah, we're going to get rid of these people. You know, they're kind of trying to figure out what order they're going to get them out in, right? Because I guess after tonight we have 5 non-Cookout members left and we have the 6.
Yeah. There was the conversation also where Xavier was included with, where they were the convincing of DX of basically throwing it to them.
Yeah, and like Xavier is able to manipulate DX pretty well, and then, you know, DX was like relaying some of these conversations that he'd had with Xavier to Hannah, and Hannah's like, really?
No, to Claire.
Was it to Claire?
It was to Claire.
Okay, you're right.
I do declare it was Claire.
But Xavier, Derek X did have a conversation later on with Hannah, right? About
correct.
This.
You are correct.
So he had a conversation with the two of them. Correction, in different parts in like the kind of the summary we got tonight. And yeah, like I thought like the women see it, they're like, no, like especially Hannah knows better because she's in the Cookout and she kind of knows, she's a little bit closer to what the actual power structure of the house is. Versus like Claire is like, I don't even know what's going on in the house, and I know that's not true.
Well, Claire did mention, you know, she was telling Derek, and Derek also was aware of the subterfuge that Xavier and Kai was seemingly trying to do in terms of talking about throwing the POV, not POV, sorry, head of household, but subtly not saying it. And DX also was picking up on it. But what this sequence in general told me is that the editing team, in terms of picking characters that we should be invested in, feel that DX is a character that they're fully invested in, the character that they want to present, right? As someone that we can get behind and we can see their progress. Claire, they're not. The reason why I say that is we know, especially discussions about yesterday during the live feed talks, that during this specific conversation, Claire mentions, hey, did you notice that there isn't any all the people that have been eliminated have been Caucasian, right? See, I'm being nice. And then, you know, DX agrees in the affirmative, and they have that little sequence there. Mm-hmm. They don't want to give Claire that. They gave it to DX in an earlier conversation, right?
With now, Tiffany? Was that who was with?
With Tiffany, he did mention it, but he mentioned it in the context of there's no white dudes left. See, I turned around on that one.
Sure.
No, but and that has never happened in the history of Big Brother US, right? So no white guys in the jury.
So he was just like, "Oh, that's but Derek X doesn't know the history of the game or what's happened or who's been in what." But
true,
yeah, Claire does.
Okay, B-Bean, our friend B-Bean, Alyssa thought that Xavier might be vulnerable if they convinced her of this. If she used her second veto, poor Xavier would be vulnerable. Kylan was never going to put up Xavier.
Yeah, this just goes to show you how terrible Alyssa is at reading the house.
Right. And yeah. So
Honestly,
like the questions I would have is, does Alyssa not believe they have enough votes to save Xavier if Xavier was against Brittany or Xavier was against Big D?
how could they be that good at convincing Alyssa of a false narrative like that? Like, how could they be good? Like, she's not dumb.
Because
Right?
because whenever they tell someone something and they go to the opposite side of the house for confirmation or insights, there's enough people there because the cookout is spread amongst everyone that they can, provide that mist. So it's like if Brittany is talking to Oz and it's like Brittany goes, "Oh, I think I should try to do this." It's like, I don't know. You can try, but I don't think it's gonna work because of this reason. And then let's say she goes and tries talking to DX, and Hannah's in the room, and they mention it, and then Hannah's gonna subtly, because she's smart enough, especially, gonna mention the reason why the other people just previously said why it wouldn't work. And she's like, "Oh man, I'm getting it from this way too. I guess it's not gonna work." Like they have their bases covered pretty well. All right. The problem is the people aren't comparing notes individually.
well, tonight was the first time we have seen members of the non-cookout compare notes, where it was Claire and DX. And you're right, they showed it as if DX went to Claire and was like, "Oh, what about this?" And then Claire was like the one who actually figures it out and it affirms to DX, "Yes, this is probably what's going on. Just think about it," right? So, and then we also got the scene from Xavier where he was like, "They're never going to bring this up in public because like all the reasons we said on this podcast, that it's awkward, that it's an awkward thing to bring up a race in a house, like especially nowadays in Big Brother with the Twitter and everything going on, that it's very difficult to do that." But now that it's like all the white men are gone, I think like, okay, it's a little easier now to kind of bring it up.
So I've had this question in the back of my mind for a couple weeks. Do you think that if the cookout is successful, do you think that there'll be no chance any group of Black people are able to gather for like the next couple of years? Like, because to me, if I see, like, I'm just trying to like look outside of it. If I see like a group of Black people kind of like hanging out, I'm automatically warning flags coming up. I'm like, I don't know.
It's either that or you'll see they'll try to repeat it. Right. Like, you like the next group, if they have the numbers to do that, but it because it's been done before, it's less likely to be, it's more likely to be sort of an integrated alliance next time. Like it would hard to imagine.
See, to me, it just looks like another route to the end. Just like, Steve Moses won. Any smart dude with glasses, we have to be wary of and try to eliminate them as quickly as possible.
Jaemeel, question here from BB. Why do you think they don't want to give Claire the credit? Why do you think that they gave the segment to Tiffany tonight on the show?
Well, they gave it to Tiffany and DX. I don't believe that they believe that Claire is a worthy narrator or a character that they should be investing time and energy in presenting.
They might be onto something there.
But they did show her. They could have just left that portion out and just left it to DX's time in the diary room and that Tiffany conversation.
Right.
Do you want to hear my theory on the answer to that question?
Well, yeah. Well, it's more of a statement here is also saying like that whether this can be repeated, like assuming that the cookout is successful here and they actually get down to final 6 and then they duke it out or whatever. The cookout concept will never go away, just like all girls alliance will never go away, just like all guys alliance will never go away. It's just like it's part of one of those things people.
To me, the all girls alliance. Sorry, Jeff. I know. Please hold on a little bit longer. The all girls alliance thing is hilarious. How people hunt for that so hard when. Has there been any time that an all-girls alliance has lasted longer than a vote?
Never. Right? I've been watching Big Brother,
which makes no sense to me. Why, like, it's always like worried about, right?
I think because some men would find it humiliating. I think that's why they're like, and then we got voted out by the women.
I'm waiting for the all white alliance, and they talk about it openly. And how
not the committee. I'm sorry.
Well, the committee, they never mentioned race.
Calafiore, he was there. That was diversity for them.
But just imagine if you two are
Italian.
Yeah,
if you two are in alliance with other white people. No one mentions anything, and then one guy in the alliance says, "Yes, we should do it for the culture." How long would it be until you're like, "I'm no longer a part of this alliance"?
About like, what is that? Data gives that answer to Picard in Star Trek: First Contact, like 0.06 seconds in eternity for an android. Like,
what would be even worse if it was 3 guys and it was Kevin, Keith, and Ken. That would be bad.
Okay, Jeff, your answer. Sorry.
What's what? Okay, first answer about the question you asked, Jaemeel. I think it won't. I don't think it's going to happen again like this because I don't think they're not going to cast. I think this many people of color. I think again,
or black
which I think
specifically.
Is or maybe black people specifically. I think it's a mistake, though. I think they should. I think that's the big problem of why everyone gets upset that white people seem to control these games. It's the casting. And 2, Claire, the Claire situation here. Okay, the production staff does not respect her. Okay, like she sucks in the DR. She talks like this all the time, and it's like, what is going on with her hands and just not good at narration and like you said, Jaemeel, but like it's just they don't respect her, the producers of this show.
Yeah.
She's not bringing them entertainment.
If she gets eliminated like next week, what did she contribute to this year? And that is a hard question to answer.
Dave, do you have a single soundbite of Claire?
I got a few. She's pretty interesting, really, when you think about her. Let's see, what else? We know the big one, right?
I do artificial intelligence engineering.
That's day one.
This was an earlier one.
Oh, I know they're not cheering for me.
I know they're not cheering for me. I'm referring to America and anybody else for that matter. And then the other, I got
Yo, Julie.
Irrelevant.
Very original. And then lastly,
the main squats I do is down to my computer chair and then back up to get a snack.
I feel like she really has a heavy, thick New York accent, but like it's hidden in a way, like like in certain words she says, I'm like, that's a New York like accent going on there. But then other words, like it's just complete, like almost Midwestern accent.
So straight up question: if she was eliminated from this game and never existed, do we have a different season?
Versus, if Christy had come in, the bald sensation.
Well, I mean, versus if Big D was eliminated from this game, right? Would this season be different? I think that if Big D's gone, there's a bigger impact versus like Claire, who has won just as much as Big D, right?
Yeah.
And has had as much political say as Big D. But Big D is at least a character that the producers feel is worth paying attention to and is going to make it to the end.
If the producers had their druthers here, they would rather have Claire been evicted this week than Brittany.
Yeah.
Yeah, you would think so. Yeah.
Right? Brittany's giving them stuff. People like Brittany. People want to vote for Brittany to give their big BB bucks. And, and people, I think there is a portion of the audience that is sympathetic to Brittany. I think there's another portion of the audience that maybe is not so sympathetic to Brittany.
Voteforthewords.com.
Yeah.
Look, here's the difference. If Claire's in the jury house, we can go 2 weeks without showing the jury. If Brittany's in the jury house, we want to see
we might get a jury. I feel like we're gonna get a jury segment on Sunday if they don't have enough to deal with. We're going into a Sarah Beth HOH now. Which you would imagine is going to be Kylan's HOH part 2. Which is not, I was not super thrilled that she was the one who come out on top here.
and I will be
I
mad.
want more creepy music. I want cloud music.
What else do we got with her?
With the beetle, earn your safety and betray your team.
How about you betray Kylan? That would be the best thing you could do, Sarah Beth.
Do you know what like a girl or a guy has like that really soft, almost cuddly voice, but it doesn't suit the person? That's what I feel like what Sarah Beth has. Like it's almost like it's off-putting in a lot of ways.
Yeah, Sarah Beth's a different. We're gonna get more Sarah. She hasn't been on the show much, at least lately. Like she's in here and there, but like she's, as a character, I don't feel like we have much on Sarah Beth yet. I feel like we have more on Xavier.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just back to tonight's episode. What did we not touch upon? Was Julie drunk? Did she have too many cocktails, Jaemeel, or was it just production's fault? They couldn't get her going.
She just stumbled on some words. It's live television, even though there's no audience. And
okay, why? But she's nervous because it's live. I get okay.
Not that she's nervous. It's just that everything looks clean when you can let's take it from the top, right? She has to do it in one shot, and she's basically narrating all of CBS's garbage terms, and then she has to hit her marks and move each time. But first,
first, yes,
move over to this camera.
But why did she
forget? Let's not forget, Dave. She does not give a fuck about CBS's. Like, she's not there to do a perfect job anymore. She was, maybe 10 years ago, but ever since she became Julie Chen Moonves, her give a fuck meter went right down. Right?
Okay, like these segments, like today with Brittany.
That means I have to call Brittany Brittiti.
Okay. I'm Brittiti. I'll be Brittiti.
Yeah. You're giving me a nickname?
Half of America said to themselves, "Thank God Brittany's gone," and the other half went, sad to see her go, but I'm not gonna miss those moments.
I skipped the rap. I did not hear.
Right.
Here we go on the block.
No, stop it.
We got that. I shut that door. Shout out to my fam. I love you all. Really sorry you got to keep seeing my face on this wall. House guests, let's get down to business. Don't know where you're voting. Let me spit this. That's all I made up. Okay, so.
I just skipped the entire thing until she said
I have an album now. I have so many raps with Brittany.
I would if I was in the house, I'll tell Brittany I'm not voting for you because you rapped each time. I'm sorry.
I think these all need to be remixed together into something.
Yeah,
I don't
know.
like
Internet, do your work.
It is not the pizza song. The pizza song is a classic. It's I hate using this term, but I'll use it in this case. The pizza song is a banger, right? Gonna Have Some Pizza is a top 10 classic, I feel, right?
Okay.
I still
this could be a contender.
No, it's not close.
Maybe not.
Do you know the pizza song?
I don't know. No, I don't know the reference.
Gonna have some pizza.
Oh, okay.
Gonna have some pizza, y'all.
Yeah, you gotta get the.
And then he starts dancing. Pizza. Dun, dun,
which house guest are we talking about?
I don't even know the dude's name, but I don't care. It was great, and it's just him making frozen pizza.
All right, but in all seriousness.
In all seriousness.
She's like, I'm still getting paid.
She's not as sharp as she used to be.
I forgot the word serious, so I thought it might be seriously. Okay, and then when at the end of the respect, or I guess of when Brittany was talking.
And Julie Chen, I love you.
I love you back.
Yes!
Thank you, Brittiti.
Thank you, Brittiti.
The only thing I'm really looking forward to on this season is Zingbot at this point. Like, I can't wait, and I'm upset that Zingbot's been robbed of Brittany, but oh well.
He should do it to the camera. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, he can go to the jury. He should. We sent you to jury house, Brittany.
And then he just starts rapping. And he's like, "Oh wait, I suck," or something like that.
I'm on the block. Oh yeah. Okay, here we go. I think that she deserves posthumous zings.
Yes.
From the house. And Julie also lastly said, "You're all my children in there."
You're all my children in there.
She the mama?
It's a bit creepy.
It is creepy. She's grooming these house guests. You heard it here, folks.
Yes.
Speaking of mamas, Derek F's speech when he was talking about his mother paying all his bills, even when she's sick.
I first want to say thank you to God. Thank you to my mother, Sherry. She's took care of me my whole entire life. She still takes care of me this day and handles every bills, even when she struggles.
That made me kind of raise an eyebrow. What does that
He's
mean?
living the dream. He's living the dream.
Okay. And then
if Oprah had children, you think that children had to pay anything? Nah, man, that children is chilling like Stedman, right? They're just floating that cash.
Because he's got
that Joe Frazier money, Dave.
I guess like maybe he's never really had to. Maybe I don't know what exactly the situation. It was an interesting thing to throw into his speech, and then he has got a podcast I didn't know about.
I want to say, make sure you check out the Regular Degular Show with my best friend Adam. I miss him. I love him.
The Regular Degular Show. We'll have to check that out. And then lastly,
house guests. If you want to continue having your stomachs full of food and plenty of laughter to last you through the whole entertainment of this summer, and also living in a clean environment, then you will keep me here. That's all I got for you, baby.
He cleans, makes people
sleeps,
laugh.
Cleans, sleeps, blows up the house if he had his way. So I don't know. The speeches don't matter. There was going to be Brittany here.
Speeches don't matter.
Yeah, and
by a vote of 7-1, Big D, you are safe. Brittany, you are evicted from the Big Brother house.
Okay, Julie Chen. Still going to jury.
Her name is Julie. Her last name is Chen. Her name isn't Julie Chen. You don't have to say Julie Chen every single time. That annoys me.
Yeah. Actually, her name is Julie Chen Moonves.
Moonves, sorry.
Don't forget the Moonves. So just like the redirect, and you see like Big D's face when she was like, "Big D, you were safe," and he's like, "Whoa." He was on a roller coaster.
Kuka!
He was like,
I don't think he was. I think he knew, and
he knew. Did you also see Big D's face when Brittany did her rap?
No,
no.
He likes Brittany. And he was like, it's the last one, you know.
Yeah,
I would make a comment, but I'm not going to.
He was not. I don't think he didn't like go. Oh, I'm ready for this. Okay, and then in the exit interview with Brittany tonight, she mentioned that she felt most betrayed by Claire and Tiffany because of something called the Silent Assassins.
I definitely do feel betrayed by some members of the house.
For example?
I would say Claire and Tiffany, mostly because I had the Silent Assassins and the Kingslayers alliance with them.
Oh, the Kingslayers as well.
Alliances that are not real things.
What alliances?
The Silent Assassins.
Silent
Assassins. The show never told us about it.
They were so silent. The show never showed us.
Kingslayers I did mention weeks ago, but that was a fake alliance.
Oh, yes. You did.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. So Brittany was never had her fingers on the pulse of this house, did she?
Nope.
Was it
try either? Like, let's if we're doing the postmortem of Brittany, like she literally just went into the corner room with Big D and Azza, never really played the game, never crossed notes with the players that she should have, alone. And she was not a good player. Okay, so as much as she was entertaining, like she didn't really deserve to get anywhere near the end of this game. But at the same time, like it was sad to see her go the way she went, because it was just like she thinks she got eliminated because she was a good player, and she's not.
No, but does she believe what she was saying in that exit interview? I think yes.
She, the type of competitor she is, for her, that's how she makes the whole situation make sense, because she doesn't know about like the cookout, right? That's why.
Because she doesn't know about anything though. Like it's like, but like, does Alyssa know anything more than Brittany does?
Not really.
Not really. So like I don't know if we can. At least Brittany is a little bit more true to herself.
Alyssa also, it seems like she's like on an island right now in the house. Like she like
Got
nobody
Xavier,
really,
and that's it.
yeah, but even Xavier will cut her loose, you know, because he's like cookout all the way. Like everyone in the cookout seems to be, and which is very frustrating because I don't really understand why all of them are so gung ho to get to the 6 as that
culture.
6.
For the
The
culture.
culture. I think it's like a solidarity thing. It's like to show that, like, look what we did. We voted out all the white people.
At a certain point, here's the real reason. At a certain point, you don't want to be the one that betrays the group, right? You're gonna be the Judas among everything, and you're gonna be vilified constantly. People are gonna talk about the cookout for a long time, and they're gonna be like, "Yeah, the cookout was gonna steamroll this game." Well, until Xavier wanted to get his dick wet, or
Until Hannah,
until you know Azza had to let her couldn't take Brittany's crocodile tears and betrayed the group, or until Big D let his ego take over and he had to expose the group, or because Tiffany had to have her way and expose the group, or because Kalen had to have his. And in Kalen's case, man, he would get vilified if he chose Sarah Beth over the cookout. Whoo, wow, the Black Twitter would have a field day with that dude.
Like I'm trying to it's hard for me to relate to it because but I I guess it'd be almost like if you're playing, like the pressure you would feel like playing for your country a little bit, like, or something along those lines. Like
if you're playing for Team Canada and you let Team USA beat you.
Right, something like that. Or if you're the guy who like gave away the puck to the Russian and then he scored the goal or whatever, and
I forget who said it. I think it was Most Def. He goes, "I'm black first and American second."
It's true,
right?
Yeah. And you saw it tonight in Xavier's his DR session where he's like, "This is great. We've almost done it. Like we're almost at the point where we're going to say we did it. We voted them all out." And I think when he said that, I was like, "I'm with you, Xavier. Do it."
So you're the dude. You're the dude in the audience who's just to the Black Power side. Dave's like, "Yeah, I'm with you guys. I'm with you."
I get it. I think you're onto something. So
I agree with you 100%.
Good on you. It's sort of like,
but no, you guys don't know the type of heat Kai would get if he chose SB over. Oh my dude,
hardcore. He would be called the biggest Uncle Tom. It would be bad.
I feel for him. In my opinion, if he's gonna go down that route, he better hope he's get eliminated first before that becomes even an issue.
Speaking of Kylan, when they were just like doing Brittany's exit interview and like they were kind of showing her face getting grayed out, was there like Kylan gave this big wet kiss to Derek F?
Oh, he did.
He did.
And I was like,
"What did you make of that, Dave?"
I was like, Derek F is going to like that a lot, and Kylan's, are they getting
is by.
I know Derek F is gay, and if I was just like, are they?
No.
Why do it in that moment though? It was a little strange.
I think just to give Derek F a thrill.
Yeah, I guess.
Because
it seemed weird to do it at that point, like right when Brittany had just walking out of the door.
He thinks he's like Batman.
Kylan's like Batman.
He was Nicole
He's
Kidman.
My Dark Knight.
Yeah.
He was my Dark Knight. Yeah.
I hope that would be a great DR if they have a DR with him saying something like that. That'd be so great.
And then he goes, "I'm Batman."
Yeah, he's
this man is straight as.
You know what? Maybe Kylan is Batman because Bruce Wayne is so lame. And everyone's like, "What's wrong with this guy?" And why is he has no emotions? And what the hell? Why is he so calm? And that's Bruce Wayne. And it's
even last night when he was talking about Kylan,
I want to give Kylan time to figure out who he wants to make the real target.
He is in love with Kylan.
Maybe. Is he more loyal to Kylan than Azza, you think?
Yeah, I think so.
I think he's more like his interests in them are different. He has different priorities with his relationships with the two of them.
Ozza's a person who's in a similar situation, right? It's like saying, hey, who would you choose over? Would you choose, if you're a poor beggar on the street, would you protect your other poor beggar on the street? Or if someone rolled up to you with a limo, and a big wad of cash, you're not jumping in that limo. You're like, bye, and jumping in.
Right. It would be interesting to see how, like, now that Brittany's gone, also how Ozza and Derek F work together, because they're the last two Jokers, of course, and they're the least they have the least amount of agency among the Cookout members, I'd say.
If I was Hannah, I would be scooping up Ozza, right? Like having her spend time, with you, because you already know that the relationship with Tiffany is kind of rocky, right? Her and Xavier, Ozza and Xavier shouldn't really be together because of their mutual attraction to each other, right? And if you had a choice between Derek F and Ozza, I would take Ozza as a person because she's loyal. She's overtly loyal, right? So
see,
it's funny. Sorry?
I was just gonna say it's funny you say that, because I asked Amanda, because you guys asked, I think Dave asked me last episode what Amanda thought about Ozza. So I asked her before the episode today, and she said I could never trust her in an alliance because she's too emotional, and I could never trust her not to blow it up.
But you're not asking. You're already in an alliance with her. All you want is her to choose you over the others. That's it. What bad blood does Ozza have with Hannah, right? So all you have to show her the attention and the I know, girl, I'm sorry, right? And just have her, like, when she eventually gets eliminated, because I think it's pretty elementary as of this point, you want her to think of X was controlling the game, Kai was controlling the game, Tiffany, she had her own opinions. Hannah, I don't know where she stands, but when I felt down, she was at least there for me.
Right. Let's just also cross off here in our draft tonight as Brittany goes out and becomes our first juror here on day 44. Sean took her fourth overall.
Who got eliminated? Soundbite.
Oh, damn. Good thing I'm near.
It's me! I'm so sick of it.
It's over. It's okay. It's okay, Brittany. It's over.
Let's go, baby!
Straight to jury you go. And Brittany, I'm sorry. I'm sad to see you go. She is the highest draftee so far to be evicted. And as we look down here in terms of who's left and who's got who. So I only have Xavier left. I also had Frenchie, but he's been gone for a while. Daryl has Kyland and Claire. And then Amanda, Derek F, and Tiffany still in the game. Now that Sean has lost Brittany, he only has Derek X left. And Jaemeel, you have Ozza. She's winning this game. She's winning this game.
Sure.
Is this good?
I would like to feel heard.
I would appreciate to feel heard.
And then Jane has Alyssa. Do you think that Alyssa can win this game?
Not really.
I don't think she'll get to the end. She doesn't have any friends other than Xavier.
Yeah. Jeff, you have Sarah Beth and Hannah. Sarah Beth, the new HOH, and Hannah, maybe her target. She had her.
Not if Kylan has anything to say about it.
Not if Kylan.
Guess what? Guess what the narrative is going to be, Dave? This is going to be the narrative. Claire and DX are too much of a threat. They're too much of a pair. We got to get Claire and DX out. That'll be the whole narrative. They will feed and shove down Sarah Beth's throat the whole week.
DX was pick number 13. What were you all thinking? Yeah.
Dude, they did not give us any information about this guy. They did not mention his athletic history at all.
Yeah, we drafted before the show, and we only had the pre-game interviews that were only text only. So there was we didn't even know he was like a varsity tennis player or anything. Yeah. So, but Derek X went shockingly low in our draft. In retrospect,
I mean, I like my picks. I think my picks are working out pretty good.
Yeah, I'm still happy with my. I think Xavier as first overall is like considering how little information we had on these people is proving to be pretty good for me.
I don't hate necessarily my pick whatsoever. Like Christian wasn't necessarily a bad pick per se. He just got hit on a very terrible week, and you had this very strong alliance at the same time, right?
Yeah,
Christian would still be here.
Derek F going third overall is a head scratcher.
Derek F. Yeah, we didn't know what to make of it. We didn't know
what to make, and I wasn't going anywhere near that dude.
Who took him? Oh, Amanda. Yeah, you gotta ask her about that one.
She goes, I didn't even look at the picture or anything. I just picked the name.
I love it.
Oh yeah, it wasn't that much. It was like we had a few days, right? Didn't we, to like look at these interviews?
Yeah, but when she actually did the draft, like she was pretty tired, so she's just like, this one. She kind of went with random draw.
I looked at it. I looked at the day of our draft.
Jen, I think Jen also did something similar, and like it might turn out well, it might not. So,
okay, so
HOH, the balance beams.
Yep.
Do you guys like this? It was better than how they did it last year, I thought, because wasn't this like the first HOH, or there was kind of one where Cody won, where you had to hop along all these like obstacles in the fastest time, right?
Right.
And but there was sort of like you were able to see it, or some other people.
There were springs that kept moving, so you knew which ones were springy.
Right. So it was a little different than that, but it had some similarities, so that they tried to correct here. The balance beams, at first I thought it was like, how are they ever going to be able to run through this in the time they have left? Because Claire was the first to go and she was the slowest. Or one
Claire
of the slowest.
Well, she did 34.
Right. Like, and so I don't know, like, because you don't have that advantage or that benefit of watching someone else go, but you can hear like whatever Kylan's saying or whatever the other people.
Other people couldn't see what they were doing.
No,
they were behind the hedges.
What did you think of this competition, Jeff?
Yeah, it was whatever. Like, I thought it was pretty exciting for the fact that you don't know who's going to be good at it. Like, I knew Derek X was going to either win it or come second, and that's what happened. And so for Sarah Beth to kind of pull it out of nowhere, like nobody would have picked her in even a draft.
I was thinking like my pick before the competition was like Alyssa. I thought Alyssa would be the best at this because she's the smallest frame, but it was Sarah Beth, who is not. I should have also thought of, really.
She is, yeah.
Honestly, I thought Azza was going to pull it out. If only she didn't go if only she didn't go down that first beam, the small beam. I think she would have made it.
But I was not confident about Azza going into this.
Azza had to be Azza.
After that, what's it called? Veto. OTEV. After that OTEV competition last night, where she was landing on her face every other second, I was like, ugh, I don't know. Like I thought she might get hurt doing this.
Yeah. She's not coordinated. Like she's.
No, I think like dealing with her body weight. DF did better. Yeah.
DF, I was like, he's got the twinkle toes like his father, Smoking Joe Frazier.
So BB says DF did better than I thought. DX made a huge mistake. SB was a shocker. Alyssa almost made it. Alyssa would have won. If not for her final step.
Yes.
No.
Well, she couldn't. She was gonna. She was. She was about to beat her, wasn't she?
I thought she was about to be Claire.
No, she.
Maybe she was about to be Claire. I don't know. Did Alyssa went before Sarah Beth? I thought, right? And so
I thought so, but maybe I'm wrong. Yeah, I might be remembering wrong.
I might be remembering wrong as well.
Yeah, well, anybody who tried to take that first, like that very, very narrow one, that was like, it was sort of like, take the easy one, take the very difficult one. And Sarah Beth also had, there was strategic decisions made here where you were like, no, she was like, I will just go very quickly through the easiest path. And that's what would be my strategy. And it was effective. Whereas you saw like, if DX hadn't tried to do the most difficult one first, he could have won this one.
Yeah,
he could have beat Sarah Beth.
Won it. He would have won it because he got to 21 seconds and he fell.
Yeah, but he'd also had to restart, right? He had to go back off his initial start. Yeah. So he lost like 5 seconds right there, just resetting from that. So like I thought that like Sarah Beth also she won it like by making good decisions too, and knowing her, sort of like I'm not going to try that. I'm not going to try that. Like a few times Sarah, like even when like because she was so far ahead at one point, I was like, I guess she could go for the most difficult one for the final, and she was like, no, I'm going for the easiest one or the easier path, and it will take me an extra step. But you're going to spend so much more time trying to stay on that tightrope. You know, like who could like Tiffany was doing the best with it actually. Of almost anybody, I thought, trying to stay up on that consistently. And then Xavier was interesting to kind of watch through. He was like trying to do like, if I can just hop from this thing to that thing, you know, he was almost like he was the hacky sack and he just had to stop himself from touching the ground.
Sack?
Yeah. I thought Tiffany, I thought was impressive. I just think, but when Sarah Beth put up that 20-second time, you know, like everybody was just like, couldn't touch it, like really, like a couple.
Derek X came right, even though he fell, he almost beat it.
Yeah, and he would have been. So if he had just, but he didn't. He wasn't as smart as Sarah Beth. Sarah Beth's like, no, easiest path. You know, I think I would have rather DX have been the HOH than.
Oh, I wanted Azza, man. Azza's so bad.
But between Sarah Beth and DX, who would you rather be?
Why? Because do you think Azza was going to put up any members of the cookout? Jaemeel?
I think that she would still be in an emotional state.
Yes.
Oh yeah. I don't know. Like I think it wouldn't be good for her game to win HOH Azza.
She's not winning.
Okay, guys. What do you guys think Sarah Beth is actually going to do? Do you think she's going to listen to the Kylan pressure, the go after Claire and DX? Because that's literally the only options they have other than Alyssa.
All Kylan has to do is make sure that only one member of the cookout is put up.
Mm-hmm.
That's their only goal. They only have to make sure that.
Well, why is that their goal?
Because they have the numbers.
They have the numbers. It doesn't matter. If
it's just for appearances. It's just for this.
Not even for appearances. It's
plausible deniability.
No, it's legit strategy at this point. As long as there's only one member of the cookout up, they can vote out the other people.
But isn't it better to have no members up?
That's best case scenario.
Right.
All right. But then also you don't want to be
because what if the non-cookout member wins the veto and then she goes, well, I really want to put up Big D. And now it's Big D and Azza on the block.
Yeah, they won't like that. They won't let that. They would never let it get to that point. Tiffany,
what do you mean? Like, this is the thing. Like, I think we've seen already in this house, guys, Sarah Beth kind of is not she's not shy to express what she wants and her target. Like, she wants to get Hannah out. So don't be surprised if it's like Hannah, and then she's going to think to herself, well, who's going to go home for sure? How is Hannah going to go home for sure? Well, Big D sits beside her. Then Hannah's going home for sure.
If you're Kylan in the cookout, right? Like, aren't you thinking the easiest thing is to get Sarah Beth to put up Hannah and DX?
But that means DX is going to be in the veto.
Right, but then there's you know, he might not win any. He's not going to win every time.
You might want to have DX in the veto because then he can remove himself and he can't remove Hannah. Whereas if he's not in the veto, then he can win it possibly and then also take Hannah out.
Why is why is Sarah Beth going to listen to whatever Kylan wants?
True.
Well, I guess that's the question. Do we think that's going to happen? Because that's my fear. Like, when she won tonight, I was like, well, then the cookout is going to be able to work her and just get her to do whatever they want, especially like
she's always been an independent thinker.
If she wants to take out Hannah, she's not going to let anyone tell her she can't take out Hannah. She begged and pleaded for them to go after Hannah in one of the weeks, and they basically shut her down.
Right.
So you don't think she's going to have a little spite in her and say, no, screw all you guys. I'm going to go after the player I want to go after.
Yeah. Okay, so here's the question. A week from now, when we are in this eviction, right, will Sarah Beth be blindsided when they vote out let's say Hannah's on the block and there's somebody else on the block who she thinks is the pawn, but is actually who they're going to vote out instead of Hannah, right?
Like, let's say they try to push Alyssa will be the pawn.
Yeah, or like, let's say, like for whatever reason, they can't get DX up on the block next to her, either pre-veto or post-veto. And so their backup is either Claire or Alyssa or something like that, as the other one to sit next to her. And they'll say, right, and they'll be, and Tiffany will make sure Hannah doesn't go. And then will Sarah Beth be salty about it. Like, what will be the sort of the fallout? Will she then realize that like she was screwed? It might not matter at that point. They have the numbers. There's not much Sarah Beth could do, especially she won't have any power next week. But is that, or will she be more likely manipulated by the cookout to like believe that this is what's the house wants or something?
I think they're gonna put up DX and Hannah.
I think that's
it's going to be Big D and Hannah. That's what I think is going to happen.
I don't think they're going to have DX have the opportunity to save himself and take out Hannah. If at least, like, let's say DX stays on the block, at the very least, she can try to convince, I'm going to hurt Hannah by taking away her best player in the game.
That's what I was like. If I was Sarah Beth, that's what I would do. I would put it, because it would be like, okay, you guys are like kind of a showmance and obviously a duo, and putting you up together makes sense. Yeah, he can play in the. Okay, so he wins the veto. He takes himself down. Who cares? Like, so then you put up somebody else, and then you vote out Hannah. Her mind.
What's
right?
the ability this week? Sorry.
We got
change HOH. The HOH can get swapped.
The HOH can get swapped. So will Sarah Beth get swapped?
Could happen.
And okay,
and DX has a lot of points.
Who will get
it for the coup d'etat?
Who will get the bucks? Who will get the bucks to take out Sarah Beth's HOH?
DF,
maybe Claire.
DX. No, I don't think they believe in Claire. So,
Hannah.
Maybe Azza.
Maybe,
but she won't do anything with it. So it's going to be DF, DX, and DX, and maybe Alyssa this week.
I think they should have written it that Brittany should have been able to give her bucks to like whoever she wanted, like going out, like assign that.
And this week they're going to give people the opportunity to earn more money too. So it doesn't even make any sense.
I would like to ask in the chat, B Bean or Mary, like, or both of you guys, please put up who do you think Sarah Beth will definitely put on the block, like that? Who will be her noms? I'm interested to see what they say, but we'll get to that once they put up their noms. But yeah, like I think personally, I think she's gonna want to get Hannah out, and she's gonna want to put someone up beside Hannah that's not gonna go home, and that's Big D.
It's big. Yeah, Big D is the best choice in that sense. Yeah. Does she have a relationship with Big D? I don't think I've ever seen Sarah Beth talking to him.
Not really. I don't think so. Yeah, Mary says Hannah and Tiffany.
Hannah
we'll see what
and
B Bean says.
But like, can Kylan stop that from happening or not? Does he have that kind of influence on Sarah Beth? No,
I don't think so.
Well, I don't think so. I don't think they're a tight alliance. I think it's kind of like an alliance for show, like almost like they're not even really romantic.
It's not romantic, yeah. Right? It's some kind of like connection. They're friends. They're strong friends, and we'll see. I think this is going to be. Okay, let's say we're right, and Sarah Beth is a strong-willed person, and they're not going to be able to manipulate her. I think you are going, because how cushy they've had it this cookout. I think you're going to see players like Tiffany and Xavier freak out. Once they're because they have their master plan in place, and now this is going to be a little bit of a disruption. And if they Now, I think right now they're probably thinking, well, maybe we can work our connection through Kylan. We can kind of aim Sarah Beth elsewhere and maybe control the vote. And
they're going to try their best to convince Sarah Beth that DX is such a big threat we can't leave him in the house. That's what they're going to do.
Because DX they know where who has all the money, so they know that DX has $100, right? Mm-hmm. At least, right? So
and everyone's said, because Tiffany said about Sarah Beth is going to get back to her. So Sarah Beth knows that Tiffany's not her biggest fan.
True.
She could put Tiffany. Imagine Tiffany on the block, Dave. That would be delicious.
That'd be great. That's like putting up like Amanda Zuckerman on the block, right? Like, let's see what she does.
It's like putting up Derek Levasseur, who never got put on the block.
Right, and she probably sees herself a little bit like Derek, right? I think. I don't know if that's earned or not. Maybe
she's more like Vanessa Russo.
I think she's more like a Vanessa Russo kind of an archetype. The way she works her relationships and the way she pushes people, and then you got like Xavier also. I think as sort of, I feel like they're the number 1 and 2 of that alliance. Kylan is like the 3rd place guy, I guess. And who am I forgetting? Hannah after that. Distant 4th. So,
but the difference between 4th and 5th and 6th is very great.
Big. Yeah, it's a big up drop.
She's closer to 3rd than she is to 5th.
Right. Like basically, like, yeah, what Kylan, like how much influence? We'll see.
Does Xavier and Kylan look at Tiffany as the top dog of the alliance, or did they kind of look like we're gonna get Tiffany out? We're gonna let her think she's controlling everything, but really we're gonna get rid of her. Like I feel like right now Kylan and Xavier are controlling the house together. And like that's how I feel about it. Because just tonight, with everything that was going on, with them talking to each other about trying to get DX out and convincing DX that throw us the veto next week and all this kind of nonsense, that they're really controlling the house. And I think it's
the 3 of them. Like I feel like all 3 of them sort of deserve the credit in various. But I think that like Tiffany and Kylan's relationship is maybe not as strong. Like even though they're queens and whatever, I feel when I see Tiffany and Xavier together, you can just see that they're like, we're working it. We're thinking, we have a plan. We know how to work things. We can divide and conquer, right? And then Xavier and Kylan, their energy when they get together is more like we can win competitions and we can kind of, they have this alpha energy amongst each other. So it's just more about, but Xavier's the glue between them, I think, more than anything.
So there's people are wary of Xavier, especially Tiffany and Azza, because during the whole, let's get people back together, Xavier was the most successful in terms of like mediating Azza and Tiffany, and it raised a lot of eyebrows about his skill in terms of the gift of the gab. So people are wary of him from that.
Yeah. I feel like I missed something. No. Okay.
You good, Dave?
I'm good. I had a complete, like, everything went out of my mind for a moment and I lost my thought.
So you see, it isn't that easy, right? You should give Julie a little bit of slack.
Yeah, in all seriousness, it's how it goes.
In all seriousness.
Yeah, it's people make mistakes, Julie. I get it. It's perfect.
She should burn someone who's like, Julie, what's up with your talking? And then she goes, hey, Brittany, what's up with your gameplay? And we all make mistakes, right?
Chenbot malfunctioning. Chenbot.
When you make only mistakes, it's better to maybe focus on what were your wins exactly, Brittany. I won the 1 veto.
I really smashed my head back and forth. It was great.
Okay. Do we have any spoilers to get into tonight? We guess not. We didn't look. Yeah. Like if there's.
Are you happy that you got an HOH completed event today?
Yeah, I'm sure. Like I don't need it. I like when it's alternated. Like this. We get a week where we know who the HOH is coming out of Thursday, so we can kind of look ahead. But maybe next week, maybe I'm okay if they leave it for Sunday. For the following week, because it maybe only in the sense of like do a different kind of competition, maybe do an endurance or do something more mental.
Oh, I think I know what's going to be next week's HOH. I think so. I think it's going to be slip and slide.
So we've had the wall now, and we've had OTEV even before a lot of other things. It's a little we've had OTEV really early. It feels like in the jury segment of the game,
first week of the jury,
right. But the slip and slide, what like whether I go back to when it was barbecue sauce, they had to go up and down that slip and slide with, so they've done different variations.
The reason why I say it's slip and slide is because they mention there will be opportunities to win more money. So just imagine they do the slip and slide where you have to fill up the container, and then you have one of the options is HOH, and the other ball is for more money, your BB bucks. So they can do that, and someone might give up on HOH and do the BB bucks, and then go back to try to be.
If you dangle $5,000 in front of people's face, like I think someone will go for it.
Yeah.
Even especially like if you're in the cookout and you're feeling pretty comfortable, your place in the house, or
Tiffany's
like
going for the money and for the BB bucks if it's slip and slide.
Yeah, I think so. Like because somebody like only certain types of players win slip and slide. It's usually the very tallest player in the house, or at least the most athletic.
Yeah, like DX would do well at it. Like if he gets into that veto, then
yeah, I have never seen. I don't think a woman's ever won that competition.
Xavier's not winning that competition. With his knees, he's not going to win.
No, I would. Kyland, I think, would beat him easily. I think that. Like, who knows? Sarah Beth won't be playing in it, maybe. Unless if her HOH is stolen, is she allowed to play next week?
I doubt it.
Is the person who steals it allowed to play?
Shouldn't they?
So Sarah Beth didn't get it was stolen.
I have no idea how this stuff works. I just kind of like wait for them to explain it to me, and then I go from there.
We'll see on Sunday.
Twists.
Oh, sorry. Do you mean these twists, Jeff?
Yeah.
Well, I feel they're purposely vague until they need to be not vague.
When that announcer came on, he's like, "You can vote, America, and you can get the BB bucks, and the top 3 will get $75, and then these people will get these things." And I just go to the fridge, like when he starts going on, like I'm like, I don't know what this is very complicated.
As I said before, it should just be like 3 coins. You get 3 coins, you get 2 coins, you get 1 coin. We could have been the exact same thing. You don't need to break it down so difficult.
No, don't have to make it so difficult.
I agree.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it's the end of Brittany. It's the beginning of the Sarah Beth HOH and week 7. Last question, maybe here. Ideal nominee. Who's the ideal nominees versus the realistic nominees for each of us? Anybody want to go first?
Ideal.
Yeah. Who would you love to see Sarah Beth put up?
I think ideal is mine are the same. Ideal and realistic are the same. BB, and I want to hear what you think your nominees would be. But mine are, I said it before, DF and Hannah.
They're the same. Okay, you have you think that's also is what will happen?
Yeah, because I do think that Sarah Beth is a stubborn player, and she's not going to let them bully her around. And she's been playing nice for 3 weeks. She didn't get her way. She wanted to get out Hannah, and now is her chance. And Brittany's gone, and that was the last player we knew she didn't like. So, she will be mad.
Yeah, I think for me the answer, I think the realistic thing is maybe something more like like I could even see it being realistic that Sarah Beth doesn't get what she wants. She's talked out of it, but we'll see. Like, I'm not so sure she's as strong-willed, but we'll see. I think the ideal for me would be probably like, because if you're thinking from Sarah Beth's point of view, she wants to get out Hannah, so the person to put up next to her would be Big D next to her.
I already said my thing, which is DX and Hannah is ideal and realistic.
Yeah, even with the sense that, you're letting them play in the veto, but at this stage, like, who cares? Like, we're down to final 8 or 9 here, aren't we? Or 10 at least? How many people are left?
Like, let them play in the veto, but it doesn't change the fact. There's
only 9 people left in the house, right? So whether you're giving Derek X has a good chance of getting randomly picked to play in this veto anyway.
Yep.
Mike, Jeff. I get like this idea of like not putting up your target as the back door for me is like pose in the jury stage of the game. Like, it's kind of like, well, yeah, like maybe I don't get picked to play in the veto when there's 9 of us left and 6 of us get to play, so 3 of us won't. But it's and next week even only 2 of us won't get to play. But your time to sort of surprise somebody or rob them of the chance to save themselves is kind of dwindling.
once it became the bag to pick out the house guests, the back door became a lot harder to realistically do. Right? So
What was it before that?
I think it was you got picked. It wasn't just a random draw.
Like the nominee, it was always house guest choice. You're saying it was all you used to be.
I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure.
For a few seasons they did that, yeah.
Right, when Nokomis did it with the 5-finger plan, it wasn't like there was a guaranteed method to ensure that what's his name did not play in the veto, and he could be actually backdoored. Right, that is the true definition of a backdoor. With house guest choice, with the ability for house guests to either accidentally pick someone or have house guest choice, then you're not necessarily seeing. It's not a guaranteed tactic that you can still do.
All right, here BB saying that he thinks Hannah and DX is also realistic, which I think is kind of like you would get it. Like that's been set up. Xavier and DX would be his like ideal because that's the two strongest players for her to target.
I don't see why she would put Xavier up because Kylan is definitely going to be against that, and like he'd be against a lot of this stuff. But I just don't see. I think she's smart enough to know that Kylan's pretty tight.
Are
with
we
him.
giving Kylan too much credit here? That was really the question.
I'm trying to give Sarah Beth the credit because I think she's going to recognize who to not make enemies with, at least in her mind. Like she's not even going to be thinking about the cookout, so she's going to be like, all right, Kylan's with Xavier, I'm with Kylan. Okay, so that's kind of a 3 right there.
But she doesn't know that Kylan and Xavier work together.
She doesn't?
No.
I don't know about that. I think that there's the mutual respect in terms of being a physical threat. Now, the issue with Xavier DX being put up is that Kylan would go and turn around and go, hey, you're getting rid of one of my shields. And then she'll go, you still have one more shield left. And we're not going to have that many opportunities to get rid of a physical, a strong player. So I should take this opportunity to actually do so and take one more out, right? And then you have less of an issue in terms of, you physically dominating the game. That would be her counter argument. What does Kylan say? I disagree. like that doesn't make too much sense. So for SB wins in that type of discussion as well, right? And what's going to end up happening? Okay, so Xavier and DX is on the block. So Alyssa is going to be voting for Xavier, and Hannah is going to be voting for DX, and then you have mutual parties involved, pushing and pulling for either side. So let's say if let's say Alyssa wins veto, she's taking down Xavier, Hannah goes up. If DX goes down, unless Hannah wins, which she hasn't shown that she's able to win, all right, let's say someone else takes DX down, then Hannah goes up against Xavier. That could be SB's thought process if her true method is getting rid of Hannah.
Well, yeah, just after, my opinion of Sarah Beth. I wasn't looking at the screen for a second. My opinion of Sarah Beth has really shifted, just based on the fact, she did that little thing for Kylan where she went to Kylan. Kylan got her to go tell Brittany you were about to go up, and the fact that she was so happy to do that was just I don't know, kind of evil to me. And I was just so I'm kind of I look at Sarah Beth and I kind of go, I don't know what to make of her. I don't know, is she this villainous character? Who is Sarah Beth?
The villain.
Yeah.
Dave, I picked her because she compared herself to Zach Rance because she does view herself as a villain as well. She knows who she is.
I will row your boat gently down the stream. When the beat will earn your safety and betray your team.
She wants to betray. She wants to backstab. She's not a loyal for loyal sake's player. Yeah. She is individualistic. That's why I picked her, and that's why I'm cheering for her to do the right thing this week.
How much How much will she be threatened, and will they try to intimidate her out of this? Like, if you're right,
all day,
Look,
all day, every day.
But they're also going to recognize that you can't just do that with someone like her. It's not going to have the result that you want.
yeah, I think some. Well, I think like who will not be able to accept it? It will, and I think we all know who.
Listen to this. Can we talk a little bit about some spoilers here?
Oh, sure.
Right
Okay. Well, let me hit the sound.
Right after the HOH,
Wait, hold on,
Sarah Beth.
Sound.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, not the.
I didn't do the
Britney's
Britney version. Maybe I should have. Okay, we.
All right.
You may proceed.
Yeah. She goes, all right, Sarah Beth goes, I'm so freaking excited. I'm so hyped when I saw those balance beams. I knew I got this. She goes, what the heck do I do to Kylan? Guess what Kylan said? At this very second, GX and Claire personally, because of what happened this week. It's your HOH. Whatever you do, I'll support.
So he went, okay, well, yeah. So what are we that surprised that he would say that?
Azza is crying. Derek F says there's no comp that can be beaten for me. Nothing for a fat dude that can do. Why can't we pick up heavy things? This is not cool. He also said that last ledge was crooked. That's not even fair. It's not level.
Who said that? Who said that?
Derek F.
Okay.
Oh my
Derek
God, I
F
hate
said
having a fat ass.
And then Azza said, we got to get out of her and solutions. Azza, I don't know what homegirl is going to do. She's going to put me up. Hannah up, Tiffany up. We have to use the power this week. DF says Sarah Beth will probably put him up because what she said to him, quote, oh, people might not want you to go home because like you are a pawn.
Sarah Beth's not going after Azza. Like, what's Azza on?
No, that was Derek F.
Like Azza means like, oh, they're gonna put up Tiffany, they're gonna put up me, they're gonna put up Hannah. She's just freaking out.
She's freaking out. And then Derek F says, I'm checked out now. I'm so over Big Brother making these games for all you skinny bitches. I'm over it. There's nothing so far since we started that as anything with me being strong. Let me just lose all my weight and be a skinny bitch. What the fuck? A fucking balance beam? And then X says, it didn't suit me either. Balance is not my strong suit. And Azza says, we should have done the longer route. DF says, I could have beat Claire's time. Azza says, I probably will see the block this week, but that's okay.
So great. I love when people in the dominant alliance start freaking out when something doesn't go their way.
I love it too, but then it always ends up being like, but then we freaked out for like 5 minutes and then we settled it all down and now we have it under control.
And now she's going after Claire and Derek X and everything's going to work out great.
Yeah, that's often what the pattern is, and I think it's just because it's not even because like Sarah Beth sucks or anything. It's just like I think it's hard when you're in that house and you're only with those people to go against the grain because you feel like, well, am I just like I'm the target next week? Even when DX did what he did, right? When he went after who did he get out ultimately? He got out Christian, right? Right. And you could see that was not well received. That they were going to go after Derek X as soon as possible. And that's
not why they were going after Derek X as soon as possible, Dave, because he made that move. He might think that, but that's not true. They were going after DX at a certain point anyway. He actually made a mistake, I think, because that was a big shield for him,
Yeah, well, Mary wants to know what Kylan's doing. I am not like him at all.
She doesn't like him at all. I agree. I don't like him either.
I don't like him either. No. There's nothing to like.
There's nothing to cheer for. I'll tell you that.
No.
I'm telling you guys right now, Kylan ain't winning this game.
No,
he's not winning this game.
If he gets to the end, he's gonna get yelled at by a lot of people.
Yeah.
The thing with Kylan too is that right now he isn't he's not in a good position to win, but he's in a powerful position in terms of the politics of the house. So he's an important player right now, but he's ultimately I think Xavier and Tiffany are going to cut him.
Kylan, you know what Kylan is? Kylan is a resume builder. Someone at the end is going to cut him, or going to take responsibility of him getting eliminated, and they're like, I got rid of Kylan. And they're like, oh, yeah, wow. Well, yeah. It's like, the dude was never going to win.
Well, is that going to be kind of like when Tashawn cut Jedson?
Yeah.
You know?
Was Jedson going to win? I don't think Jedson was going to win.
He had a chance.
Chance in the sense that it was a warm body in the final 2, sure. But
right. More of a chance than Braden, I thought.
Apparently, okay. Tiffany and Derek X, or especially Tiffany, is freaking out because she can't understand why Kylan doesn't know Sarah Beth's plan yet, and so they're all starting to doubt Kylan and like why he's not telling. They think he's holding the truth,
right? Because Sarah Beth is in Tiffany's mind. That's your version of Claire. You're supposed to control her and know what she's doing and who she's targeting.
Kylan.
What are you doing, Kylan?
Who's the top 5 people that are going to get eliminated from the cookout and be a resume builder? Kylan.
He spits on fire.
Spits on fire.
Like the fact that they're doubting Kylan just because Sarah Beth just won HOH, they weren't expecting it, and now they're like, fuck, Kylan, you don't even know what she's gonna do. Are you kidding me?
Would they rather Alyssa win?
They if you're
Probably.
Xavier, I think if you're Xavier or you're Tiffany, who are the biggest influencers right now, it seems.
They got Alyssa not to play her veto. So
yeah,
maybe
not like from their perspective, they should be happy that it wasn't DX.
If Kai makes the finals, he's a Paul Abrahamian, or he's maybe like a Tyler, right? Like Tyler's also that.
I got something to say about Paul Abrahamian because Amanda and I were talking, and you had mentioned it last episode too, Jaemeel, where he said that Big Brother has been this way for the last few seasons. It's since this dick changed the game where everybody has to capitulate to the HOH and do whatever the HOH thinks. It's because of this guy. It's not friendship. I'm pissed. I don't like
pissed.
Yeah.
I don't even have that as a clip. Friendship.
That's good.
I hated Big Brother 19 Paul. I was a huge fan of Big Brother 18 Paul. So it's what are you gonna do? But he did.
Nicole
or
won
they did.
because she was sitting beside him. Just imagine that Nicole Franzel won is a big.
Nicole Franzel won. She was more likable.
She was more likable than him. And
yes.
That season, that was season 20, was it? Was
18.
One of the
18.
the one
18.
where the Nicole one.
And then don't forget Paul. Paul was less likable than Josh as well. He lost to Nicole and then he lost to Josh.
Josh was likable a little bit, like at least as from a fan's point of view. I wanted him to win because
if Kai and DF are in the final 2, DF wins.
I think a lot of people win against Kylan. A lot.
Yeah.
But Kylan can beat certain people, right?
No, I don't think so. I don't think
Brittany's gone.
Brittany's gone.
Ozza? Would he beat Ozza?
Yeah.
Maybe
not. Maybe
on how if Ozza gets dragged, if Ozza wins anything,
Right.
I think Ozza wins.
But if she doesn't, like if he could be like, I was HOH twice and I was in this game.
It's like, and you use your both HOH to attack Brittany and to get out Frenchie, who anyone would have been able to get out.
Yeah, you got a Frenchie and now Brittany. Woo, Kylan.
And he threw a veto to win the veto.
Yeah.
Just think about that.
Claire's gonna be pissed off at him. It doesn't matter.
Well, I think he kind of his second HOH. I don't think has done a lot for his standing in the house. Quite frankly, I don't think he's better off than he was a week ago.
So looking at the votes, I don't think Claire would vote for him. I don't think Tiffany would vote for him. I think both of them would vote for Ozza. I think DF would vote for Ozza. That's 3. Would DX respect Kai, especially when all the news breaks out versus Ozza?
No,
who showed at least sympathy towards Brittany's plight.
But what if it's Kylan and Sarah Beth in the end? Final 2.
Sarah Beth wins.
Sarah Beth.
No.
Wins.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It'll be close.
There you go.
It'll be close.
What if they just go back and forth winning HOHs till the final 2?
Sarah
Beth and Kylan. They just keep
trading back and forth. Power
They
duo.
all want the 6 people in the cookout to win the game. That's what's apparently going on right now.
If he goes against anyone in the cookout, I think he loses.
Sarah Beth wanted to include Claire and Tiffany in her HOH, and Kylan talked her out of trusting them.
I love that they're freaking out. I think, guys, Sarah Beth winning this HOH may have been the best thing. It might not have been the best result, like as far as who's going to go home next week, but I think the house is going to lose their freaking minds because Sarah Beth is not going to give them what they want. She's going to keep her cards close to her vest. She's not going to tell everybody what she's doing. And even if she did, she might be lying. Like she's a manipulative, vindictive player. She's got some, we saw it in that one week where she really wanted Hannah out. She can be aggressive.
I think Tiffany said this.
Sarah Beth. Oh, Sarah Beth.
Oh, Sarah Beth.
If you're a member of the cookout, you want her. Kai wins. Kai versus Kai.
Kai versus Sarah Beth. Kai wins. Kai versus Alyssa. Kai wins. Kai versus Claire. Kai wins. Kai versus DX. I think DX wins.
That's a lot.
I don't think
that's
so.
a lot of Kai wins.
But BB
those
saying,
are all the members not in the cookout. That's the thing. If he goes against anyone in the cookout, he's gonna lose. I think.
Does he know that
he could lose to DX? I think that for sure. I think DX has more of a resume than Kylan.
I think DX is just more likable than Kylan.
That too.
I think for Kylan to get to a scenario where it's him versus DX, he has to betray members of the cookout, and people are gonna feel.
Because I guess Claire and Tiffany were involved in trying to flip the vote this
week. Yeah. Here's the thing. If you're a member of the cookout, all you want is for Sarah Beth to split the vote. You just want her to put one
split the noms. You mean?
Yeah, split the noms in terms of like, don't put up 2 members of the cookout, just one, right? Because then all you have to do is win the veto, and just keep noms the same. Right?
But Kylan would rather her just put up Claire and DX, and then that would be even better.
Yeah, like what Mary said earlier.
Worst case scenario.
From what I'm reading, guys, right now, what Mary Bass said earlier is 100% true. That Tiffany is digging her own grave right now in the house. She's literally bad mouthing the HOH to everybody in the house, and that is going to get back to Sarah Beth.
Yeah. So how Tiffany, likely is Tiffany a nom by Sunday?
I think high. I think now the more I'm reading, the more I realize, like, yeah, Tiffany is doing exactly what I thought she'd be doing, which is trying to bully everybody in the house. And once that gets back to Sarah Beth before noms,
yeah. What this could backfire on them all. Like, it could have gone from like, okay, maybe it's Hannah and DX. And now all of a sudden it's Tiffany and Naza or something. That would be like the worst case.
Tiffany and Naza. It's not going to be Tiffany and Naza.
I'm just saying worst case for the cookout.
It would be Tiffany and Claire. Or Tiffany and Hannah.
Tiffany and Hannah.
Hannah, sorry. I keep on saying
I like when you call her Hannah.
Hannah.
Benny Hannah. All right. For Brittany won't vote for Claire over Kylan. Brittany won't vote Claire. Why doesn't Brittany like Claire?
Because she is boring.
They don't rap battle together?
Claire, this was the first episode where I was like, oh, Claire is playing the game. Where was this the whole time?
No, it's contrived. It's contrived nonsense. It's basically she's like we've said in the past, Tiffany's pet. Right? It's like they're familiars. It's like the cookout or vampires, Jeff. And these other people, they're like the familiars who are just like they're indentured servants.
So what? Claire is Scabbers or something?
Yeah, he's Scabbers.
What you're saying is we need Dean and Sam to go the family business and go in there and start chopping heads. Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying that. Yeah, I'm like saying like they're these are like that's how Tiffany I think looks at it. She's a phlebotomist or whatever. She is like kind of like a vampire, right? She's a blood doctor.
Yeah. Yeah, she's that's a great point. Maybe that analogy has legs. We got the
Maybe
lawyer vampire. We got.
She probably
what
like
else?
big fan of those Blade movies,
Right. Maybe she might be.
right?
She's like, I'm the not walker.
I'm the day walker. I can do it.
Day walker. Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, so the America's going to give all the stuff to DX this week because they know he's going to be the potential backdoor in trouble. I think
Brittany
he's getting all the
won't
money.
vote for Kylan. Yeah, like, what's there to vote for in Kylan? Like as a candidate, I don't.
He
think
lied to her face. In her opinion, I don't. He kind of just did the politician speak, but in her opinion, he lied right to her face.
Yeah, he was just. It was such a bad HOH for Kylan. Like, oh wow, you backdoored Brittany. Great job.
Yeah, and he didn't have to. He could have just left like Claire up there, and Claire could have went home. And what is anything really different?
No, this was not a great HOH by Kylan at all. It was like I thought it was really. It was just like like you have not managed this house well, and sort of the feeling coming out of your HOH.
Can you explain the motivation to why he wanted Brittany out over Claire? What's
I think
the motivation?
Because Tiffany convinced that Claire would.
That's what Tiffany wants.
Yeah.
Yeah, but why? That's why Tiffany. Like, why did Kylan want to do it?
He wanted to he was Tiffany's manipulating him, and Tiffany's like, if you save Claire, which is also good for me, then Claire will like you. He's like, oh, that's good. And then we saw on the DR tonight, Claire's like, screw Kylan. Like, wow, you like threw me off the cliff and then you pulled me back up. I'm supposed to like thank you.
You're not supposed to push me in the first place, yeah.
Right.
So Tiffany got her result. She got a person saved, and the person has animosity.
It's great. Like this is actually good gameplay by Tiffany, and maybe we aren't recognizing or applauding it enough.
That part is because let's say Kylan comes clean to Claire. Claire's gonna go, okay, so Tiffany protected me against you, and you just agreed because Tiffany, convinced you. How am I supposed to appreciate you for doing this? Like
Kylan should have recognized how much Tiffany wanted to save Claire, and he knows about the cookout, and he should have made it on purpose, made Tiffany vote out Claire. That would have been way better for Kylan's game. Way better. And he did the opposite. He tanked his own game for no reason. I don't get it. I don't understand what the motivation was for him to do this. Is he dumb? Like Daddy, I don't feel like dumb. He's a Yeah, he's not unintelligent.
I think he's manipulated more easily, right? But he's also
I don't understand the motivation to be manipulated here. I guess manipulation,
he doesn't want to be, but he thinks that he's serving the alliance. That he's sort of a good agent for their overall collective goal, right? Like he thinks he's serving that purpose in his mind. What does he like to say?
That is what is best for the cookout.
That is what is best.
Right, but yes, he threw the veto, but he could have convinced Alyssa to say, okay, I want Noms to say the same. I'm not going to use, I'll show you, I'm putting my veto in the box, you put your veto in the box, good to go. Right? But he, because he already convinced Alyssa not to use it, because he could have also said, I'm putting Xavier up to her.
Why was it? Yeah, like Tiffany convincing, this is not in his best interest to take Claire down and put Brittany out. I don't see the point of it. Getting Brittany out before Claire is not good for him. It's good for Tiffany.
Yep. Is he playing for Tiffany? It seems like he is.
I think he did this almost like a favor to her.
Yeah, I don't get it. I don't understand the motive. It's the 6 people in the cookout can't win, and it would have made it would have been really smart for him to make Tiffany vote Claire out. That's just my point,
Well, yeah, it's bad. I think the more we talk about it, we're like Kylan's kind of sucked, and he can't win. So does that increase his chances of getting voted out or delay his chances of getting voted out? Will people say, well, we don't need to take a shot at Kylan, but since he's won HOH twice now, I think you have to take a shot at him when you can. Obviously it won't be Sarah Beth to do it. So he's at least safe till week 8.
Would it be awesome if it was Sarah Beth?
It'd be amazing if Sarah Beth was the one who cut his throat. Oh my God, I would love it.
I will be mad.
And I will be mad. Yes, of course, Sarah Beth, you would.
And I will be mad.
Okay. Anything else?
I think that's it.
No, that's pretty much it for the spoilers.
All right. Well, thanks for being with us tonight, everybody. Yeah, that's what Mary Beth said. It was a favor. Yeah. Could Britt have won this HOH? No. She would not have won this HOH. Not even with karate.
Yeah. She starts doing cartwheels over the thing.
No. I sorry. I'm going to call it. Brittany would not have won this tonight. So it was if it had been Chuck Norris karate competitions, she would have won. She's 4 black.
I'm surprised they didn't do any Chuck Norris jokes about with her.
Being short with balance beams is good. You know, like Claire went slow because she's a tall girl, and that that's why.
Brittany's not that tall, but I just don't think she was that super coordinated either. Like I don't think she would have been the best at this. Like I think it's just.
Do you think Hannah threw it?
No, I think Hannah was trying to go for it. I think she just was she was a couple steps too slower than Sarah Beth. I think Sarah Beth was just a little faster and could do it a bit faster. And but Hannah, I think if Hannah had gone before Sarah Beth, I think Hannah would have been like probably in the spot, had the best time for at least a little bit.
Right.
All
right. So let's do the rundown.
Okay, so here on Super Mader Brothers Podcasting, covering Big Brother 23 3 times a week, Sundays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. Also, check out our other shows, including Marvel Cinematic Universe recaps. We've done all the ones that have come out in 2021 so far. Our next one will be Shang-Chi that we'll be doing. Plus, we've covered other shows like Netflix's The Serpent and Tiger King, and we've talked about Survivor and Westworld and other shows. We like to have tigers and all kinds of things. Will Kylan be the one out of the seal? I'm not sure.
The first
Sam.
one out of the cookout? We'll see. Welcome back, Sam.
Welcome back, Sam. Also, check out on our other channel, Live Long in Podcast, where we talk about Star Trek all the time. Monday nights, we talk about Star Trek original series. We've got 10 episodes left in that podcast. We got Star Trek Deep Space Nine on Tuesday nights, where we're watching every episode in order. Now in the 4th season, we're in the best episodes. If you want to watch a Star Trek Deep Space Nine episode on Netflix and then pop onto what we think about it, we do that every week. And then also Thursday, before we do this podcast, we also talk about Star Trek Lower Decks, although some of us, not so much.
Bird, Jaemeel.
Right. Yeah. No, it's all good. I was on that earlier with Davin Skellhorn, and we talked about the second episode of season 2, Star Trek Lower Decks, and we will be continuing that for the next few weeks. And then also check out Davin's podcast called Locutors of Trek, which he does with his friend Dave out of Nova Scotia. They do a more in-depth Star Trek related. More intellectual. They're talking about religion in Star Trek. They're talking about economics in Star Trek. They get a little bit more specific on certain issues. So check that out. As well, what am I forgetting? Trivial Debates, our third channel, where we talk about movies, TV, sports in a game show format last Sunday of every month. Jaemeel Robinson hosting this next one with the Seymour brothers, with Mott Tyrell out of Philly, PA. Will he be able to wrangle them in? We'll see. We'll be getting that posted up probably soon. Are you thinking about the questions, Jaemeel?
Thinking about the questions. I'm just fine-tuning the questions.
He's fine-tuning. He's getting it running. And lastly, check out my son's podcast, which is called Let's Talk About Fighting Games. You can find that over on Spotify, where she does with his friends over there, and they talk about all kinds of different video games that are fighting related.
Okay.
And if I forgot anything related? Or if I forgot anything else?
No, that's it.
That's it. All right. Well, we're off till Sunday. So take it easy. Have a great weekend, a Friday and weekend, everybody. And until then, remember, someone is always watching.
Wait, what? Wait.
Oh, wait, no, this is the wrong show.
Dude.
Let's
From outside the Big Brother house, I'm Julie Chen Moonves. And remember,